Okay, I'm going to read a section from the opening part of my novel, Quinn's Passage. And this is sort of, this is like a love scene between Quinn, who's the main character, and Tim, who is this young man who works at the coffee shop in this seaside village that Quinn has found himself in. And Quinn's a little awkward, so he doesn't really know how to talk to people. So this is like a love scene from the book for the awkward people of the world, which includes me. So they, where else can Quinn pick up his love but in a used bookstore, looking at all the books that he wants to have. Reading titles alone is a pleasure. Quinn hasn't got any money in his pocket anyhow. These types of bookstores are his favorite. Used books, dark, old furniture, a little musty. And the pages of this book he's holding in his hand, Lectures in America by Gertrude Stein. They are damp under his fingers, rough and yellowing. They make a soft music when he turns them, like the hiss of coffee machines, or the sound of static when the TV station has gone off the air into the night. Sounds that don't exist anymore. Kinds of silence that no longer exist. What is poetry? And if you know what poetry is, what is prose? He becomes distracted by a movement by his side. Someone else reading the titles, very different than looking for a particular book. A young man, Tim, who works at the coffee shop. Suddenly Quinn, who for nearly 2 years hasn't given a serious thought to being touched, runs his hand through his rudely cut hair and wishes he hadn't cut off all the shining curls. He can hear Tim breathing. He steals glances sideways. He feels badly dressed, too skinny, ugly, unprepared. So he recites Emily Dickinson. We don't cry, Tim and I. We are far too grand. Tim smiles, but Quinn doesn't know the rest of the poem. Instead, he looks right into Tim's eyes and drifts off into silence. There is no use in telling more than you know. No, not even if you do not know it. And here they are walking along the beach. They are walking along the rock jetty to the beach. So you make sculptures out of trash, says Tim, and came here to make art. I shouldn't have come, says Quinn. Dumpster diving is better in New York. Tim doesn't say anything. Quinn feels like a ghost in an abandoned city. So why did you come here then? Tim asks him. Now Quinn is silent. He looks across the bay. Not so far from them, the mainland. And because of the peculiar quality of light here, he realizes he still cannot discern the place where sky and sea meet. They pick their way through the dune grasses, following the trail. At high tide, Tim tells him, all this is underwater. Black irises, deep flowers. I'm underwater, Quinn thinks. Okay. So this is the last piece of the love scene, the tragic love scene. They're still walking along the beach. They walk shoulder to shoulder. Quinn is not sure if he has slowed down or if Tim caught up to him. They still do not speak. Still. Quinn recites a poem he heard once. After the storm blew in, after it shattered the windows and cried the doors open, we found the wound there, deep, and where it's always been. Quinn, separated from the only world by acres and acres of water, thinks, I'm here, not here, mine and empty. They stay until they can't see the ocean anymore. The sand becomes darker and darker until the grains dissolve into each other. Quinn thinks, I'm tired, in trouble. What's next? Tim is looking at Quinn and thinking, his eyes when he looks off into space, at nothing. Living a past life? His mouth always closes completely when he's not speaking.